Hey, what's up? It's Matt Plapp, and welcome to the introductory podcast, the video podcast, MPTV. I'm your host, as I said a second ago, Matt Plapp, and you're going to be seeing a lot of this. And you know what? You might think it's a fist bump, and you know that's actually one of the reasons, but you also might want to know that it is Matt Plapp, MP. So let's talk about what else that means and what you're going to learn, what you're going to find out about the restaurant journey in this podcast. So MP also to me stands for making profit. I think a lot of businesses lose sight of the word profit. Some people think it's a bad word. Us entrepreneurs sure don't, because that's what allows us to make a living, allows us to provide for our families, our employees, their families, and also support communities, which honestly, restaurants are one of the biggest supporters of communities out there. They bring people together, they bring great conversations, they bring lots of smiles, and they fill our stomach with amazing food. But what I found out, and the reason I wanted to do this podcast and go on this journey, was over the last 10 years, I've talked to a lot of restaurateurs. And there's one thing I found out about restaurateurs. Not enough of them talk to each other. Not enough of them leave their four walls, leave their kitchen, leave that prep line, leave the showroom to find out how to become better. And they all have amazing stories. Just the other day, I interviewed one of our podcasts, a guy named Yanni, and the passion that comes through in his voice, in his recipe, in his food is 100% easy to see on social media. And it's also something that others need to see. It's something others need to hear. And so my goal with this whole series is that every week on Tuesdays, we're going to release a new episode from a new entrepreneur in the restaurant space. Owners, operators, general managers, people that we find that are making an impact, that are making profit, that are doing things that are helping restaurants succeed. What is my background? Who am I? And what do I know about it? Well, as I said, I'm Matt Plapp, and since 1999, I've been in marketing. Back in 1999, my dad, myself, and my brother got together, and we decided we wanted to open up a consignment camper lot. And when I say lot, I mean like 40 by 20 feet. Before we did that, I bought a book on how to create websites and a thing called Adobe Page Mill. And if you know me, and if you knew me then, you know me now, I'm not a tech guy. I'm the farthest thing. I'm a marketing guy, I'm a sales guy, I'm a consultant. I'm not a tech guy, but unfortunately, I've become one. So in that process, we built that. I built the website. Within 4 months, we had the location. Within 4 years, we were doing 10 million plus a year in sales. And at the same time, I was in radio advertising. And what radio advertising taught me was unbelievable. You see, my dad taught me to be consultative. His concept was, Matt, you don't walk into a restaurant and immediately know what's wrong. You don't walk into a car dealership and sell them what you want to sell them or your boss wants to sell them. You create a relationship. You start a conversation. You find out who they are, let them know who you are, and maybe in 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, they'll become a client. Maybe not. Maybe they'll become a friend. And so I always approached it that way. And what that led me down was a path of a lot of really good conversations, a lot of really good friends. I have friends of mine still that were advertising clients, or people I tried to sell advertising to, or people that never bought advertising from me 20 years ago today. And in that process, I eventually left the business and just ran the family boat and RV dealership. During that time, I became, on accident, there's a video on YouTube about it, it's a pretty cool story, but 100% on accident, I became a digital marketing expert. Around 2007, my dad, myself, and my brother realized we did not like the boat business. We did not like what it did to our lifestyles, and we wanted to get out of it. So we all split up, went our separate ways, created our own businesses. I started doing consulting. And right away, I picked up a couple restaurants. But it wasn't around 2010 when I picked up a handful of restaurants that the owners brought me in and showed me everything. The brands were Hofbrauhaus and Quaker Steak and Lube. And the operators and owners were great people, and they knew so much about the restaurant business. And it was wild because I got to see a lot of things that I would normally not see. The lawsuit meetings, the menu meetings, the staff meetings. I got to understand the business, and that eternally shaped my agency. We then, in 2015, decided that we knew we had a product and an idea that we had launched in restaurant marketing that was revolutionary. So we started working with restaurants, and from 2015 until 2017, I reshaped my business to where 90% of our clients weren't restaurants to where 90% were. Along the way, those conversations became even more important, and that's where this podcast came from. Because now all of a sudden, I went from talking to 20 business owners a week that 3 to 4 were restaurants to talking to 20 business owners a week that 18 to 19 were restaurants. And when you have those type of conversations, a lot of stuff carries over. You see trends. You see stuff that people are doing. You see things that others aren't doing, and you're able to connect the dots. And I constantly was hearing from clients about the suggestions I gave them from this guy, They weren't my ideas. They were, hey, this guy's doing it. This lady's doing it. They're running the restaurant this way. They're doing third-party delivery this way. They're doing their, shift meetings this way. They're doing their social media posts this way, which, by the way, wait for that Yanni episode because the guy's crushing it with social media. I can't wait to show you. And this isn't a marketing podcast, though. Ironically, that episode, our 9th that we shot, was the first time marketing came up. And so my goal of this whole podcast is to bring all of those ideas together and let you, the viewers, let you, the people in the restaurant field, see it and hopefully take something from it and build off of it. Our goal is to have every episode between 10 to 25 minutes. We had one that went 30. I'm sure we'll have one that goes longer. We've had a couple that went 10 to 15. My goal is for you to get in and get out. Be able to listen in the car, listen on the go, listen on the treadmill, watch on your TV with your family. I don't know. Okay, maybe that's not you. Maybe you probably won't do that. Maybe if you're crazy enough, you will. But the really cool thing about it, where it really took its shape, was 2018 and 19, I wrote a couple books. And in that process, I interviewed hundreds of restaurant owners. I did a lot of live videos. I did some recorded videos. I did some sit-downs. And they were all on my phone. And the quality was okay. The audio was okay. The lighting was average. But the stories I heard along this journey made me realize that these were stories other people needed to hear. And I had restaurant owners constantly reaching out like, Matt, I watched your interview today with Peter. Loved it. Loved what he's talking about. I agree completely. And by the way, I've put 1, 2, and 3 of these things in place in my business. So when I saw that and I realized I wanted to take this to a new level, I reached out to some friends. I got a guy named David who's behind the camera right now and said, hey, let's take this to a new level. Let's make this a game changer. And that's where we're at. We're at MPTV. So I hope you enjoy what you're seeing. You can find all the episodes, mptv.watch. We'll be releasing episodes every Tuesday. And if you're interested, if you've got a story that you think is beneficial, you've got something that you're like, Matt, people need to know this in the business, or people need to know my story and how it might impact their business, let me know. We're always looking for opportunities, and we're going to be traveling the United States, and we're hoping to get abroad a few times as well. So that's all I got. I'll see you later. MPTV.